Lee Morgan, I'm thinking he's a little kind of Bugs Bunny kind of a thing. I feel like there's a little bit of his attitude or his nuances, the character, cartoon characters that kind of come across to me. Um, that's kind of important, when you're kind of creating, you know, kind of creating a story, kind of weaving something with your sound. Um, so um, so so much of it is actually like almost to the anti-helix of the ear, you know, and the concha, um, you know, and the posterior lobule. Most important, if you have them, like have especially long ones like me, I kind of capitalize on that, the posterior lobules of the ear, and that's a lot of it. And I don't know what else, but like it's got to be, it's got to be maybe anchored there, and then also probably the glenoid process of your scapula. Most important thing is the posterior lobule of your auricle lobule, obviously. And then really like it's two or tay. I think he does like a tay. I feel like either way he says anything like Bugs Bunny, and with that attitude. But it's like, or maybe Roadrunner. But like I really think like I think of Bugs honestly, Bugs Bunny, the character clearly, but tay, um, tay or two, and either one of those work, and it's actually the lingua frenulum. Think Olivia Rodrigo, right? Everything's upper teeth, and you know um, the bottom of the tongue. Um, Also, you might want to you can add a little bit of control with the retromolar trigone. It doesn't hurt. I don't always hit that E, um, or that D. I think I'm going, B flat C, and I've got to make sure I go D, D E above the staff. Stuff like that. Anyway, so just some notes, really important notes on Lee Morgan, and I'm using a real, London, England version of the Besson company era. So this is an early era. But I think F. Besson might have been the earlier one. You know, the French ones, but this is the London, England, and imported, famously by Carl Fisher Music in on Fourth Avenue in New York. And also, gold-plated 6C from, this one is pre-19, probably pre-1950, certainly pre-1955, Bach, you know, Vincent Bach, 6Z. And maybe a modern one would work too, but I know that the dimensions are slightly different, maybe even different in 1955. And I'm sure he probably would have had the 1955 model, but this has got to be somewhat close. Anyway, maybe either are somewhat close because I'm sure there's some variation because I know they changed the process, and with the process changes, there's always been dimension changes. If you look at the real measurements in detail now that they have the ability to do that with computers and everything. Anyway, so cool. Signing off.